how it can potentially help you if you're a business owner. That being said, we have a lot of interesting announcements to make this show. We are gonna be changing formats. We're gonna be changing the way in which this show is broadcast. There's a lot of very, very exciting, let's say, progress being made as far as the expansion of this show and the actual show that produces this show as well. But we'll take that into account in just one moment. I wanted to talk a little bit today about a very special initiative made by a very special person, a person that unfortunately we lost recently. I'm talking about Elizabeth Meisner, Dr. Meisner's wife of over 30 years, who passed away recently. I was listening to some of the old podcasts with Elizabeth, and her involvement really from BNI, almost from the very, very inception of BNI. She was actually an integral part of creating BNI. She was a member originally before she married Dr. Meisner. So there's a very, very interesting history there. But really what was near and dear to Elizabeth was the BNI Foundation. So she co-founded the BNI Foundation with Dr. Meisner. This is sort of the charity portion of BNI. A lot of people don't realize that this even exists. They've done a great job trying to get this out to the BNI memberships and getting everybody involved. And I recently heard a podcast about a particular initiative within the BNI Foundation called Business Voices. Okay, so we all talk about cause marketing. What is cause marketing? That we all know. When you have the large companies, they're normally associated with one or two social activity, right? They're talking about some sort of charity that they may push specifically, or something along those lines. So this is a strategy used by companies to market themselves and create brand awareness by their own social activism. That being said, there is something that BNI puts its own twist to it. They call it cause networking. And what is that difference between cause networking and cause marketing? Basically, we're talking about being more active in the way that we participate in our communities. So we're talking about identifying needs in your community, tapping into your network to help meet those needs. And the BNI Foundation and Business Voices is almost exclusively focused on educational resources. So we're talking about schools, really, when you think about it. So what can BNI chapters, what can BNI leaders, BNI members do, and how can we basically mix and relate to these schools and our local school system to see how we can help? How can we assist these entities into providing a better education, a better environment, better resources for their students, be it disadvantaged students, be it students that are going through hardships. And frankly, we've been going through this pandemic situation now for 9 months. A lot of these students are in serious need of equipment in order to be able to participate in classrooms, right? Some people are still doing homeschooling. So you need a laptop in order to do that, So schools are very, very, say, stressed to the point of breakage with all of these additional requirements that they recently have, out of the blue. And there's a lot of things that BNI members can do to help. So if you're interested, please look up bnifoundation.org. Within that website, you'll find a specific place for BNI, for Business Voices. And there you can get a little bit better idea on how you can get involved. Even better, how you can get your whole chapter involved into making a difference in your community. Believe me, this is the giver's gain mentality to a T. This is exactly what BNI was created to do, and it's only going to enhance what you do, your reputation, your chapter, the BNI name out there with these activities, helping out people in need and doing the right thing. So big shout out to the BNI Foundation, Elizabeth Meisner, and the Business Voices Initiative. So that being said, I want to welcome with me. He's going to be doing a little co-hosting with me. You all know him. You all love him. Juan,
I don't know about love him, man. I don't know. That's a stretch.
Well, I love you, Juan.
That's good. Yeah.
So we can talk a little about Juan. Juan is the owner of NowMedia Digital, right? So NowMedia Digital is the platform under which, and the production company and these amazing facilities through which we transmit the show to you every week. And there's some very, very exciting news that you're going to share with us, right, regarding the growth of Now Media, and as well as, so hand in hand with the growth of Now Media goes the growth of BNI.
Yeah, that's true. Well, one of the things that we announced recently, we announced it on Tuesday, we signed the acquisition of Channel 21 in Houston. Channel 21.10.
The Blackjack channel.
You know what? That's right. And so starting January 1st, Now Media will become Now Media Television Channel 21. In other words, all the content that we are producing and we're streaming right now through the web and everything, it's going to be actually on open TV signal.
Wow. So we're talking about basically free TV. If you're in Houston, the greater Houston area, basically?
Yes, basically from the Woodlands to Rosenberg. But at the same time, because Now Media is inherently digital and we believe in internet-provided television, we already signed contracts with multiple cable companies, not only in Houston, but also around the United States, where they were going to carry our signal live. We're doing this with our strategic partner, El Heraldo Media Group, which whoever is a Latin American person like me, they know that they own close to 100 radio stations all across Mexico, some of them Latin America. They own actually multiple newspapers as well as television channels. So we're going to be pretty much ingesting and we're going to be involved in the programming that it's coming from Mexico City as well as Now Media here, where we're going to start making newscasts in Mexico that are binational, international, not only in Spanish but in English as well, which means we're going to be having local programming like the BNI Now show for the moment. We'll have some announcements there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to be doing newscasts with very well-renowned people where they are going to be ingested in our signal and be broadcasted in open television here. We're working to get the signal on cable also. We hope the cable companies approve our signal in the next few days. So by January 1st, we're ready to go. But the main thing is they're going to love you on television because BNI Now is going to be one of the flag signature programs that we're going to be broadcasting in open television. So every single member that comes to this show, because it's part of your membership, will have a bigger audience. They will be able to go home and turn on Channel 21 and they will see familiar faces. And I think that's something that it's very important for BNI because although this show can be watched anywhere in the world through the web, now anybody in the Houston metropolitan area, which is an 11.5 million people, they will be able to watch this.
So we're talking about the fourth largest market in the United States. That is a lot of people, folks. So I would mention it to you again. If you haven't been on the show, we do have everything pretty much full up until
March.
Up until March. But if you haven't had a chance to be on the show, you're welcome to be on it. This is your right as a BNI member. This is completely free to you. It's a perk, basically. We have the studio here locally. You come in. We have an interview. We talk about your business and your experience in BNI, and out there for you to share via your social media and now actually via live on the air television. So congratulations, that's an unbelievable achievement.
I think I'll tell you this, and there is something that I think BNI members should know because of our strategic partnership with the Heraldo Media Group. The Now Media TV Channel 21 signal will be broadcast in Mexico at the same time. Oh. Okay, which means initially we're going to go through their digital channels because you have an open signal, you have a digital channel, even though cable and all that. So starting January the 1st, this show will be also broadcasted in Mexico in real time. So that's a very important thing because if you're planning to get some people from Mexico as partners or anything, there's a lot of investment coming from Mexico to the United States.
Yes.
It's a very important market that this show will access to. So we're going to have a lot of people watching this show starting January the 1st. Obviously, they really want Alberto Tudela and Rick Gutierrez to host this, and I think that's pretty good.
Rick, let's give a shout out to Rick Gutierrez, our unbelievable area director. He's actually participating in the.
He's getting nervous though.
Yeah, I know.
He's getting nervous because
no, he's not getting. There's nothing that phases Rick. He's a BNI star. We just actually, I want to say also. A big big shout out to Rick, not only because of the fact that he's a great guy and has done a lot to further BNI in the Houston area and elsewhere, but also because there's some other news. We have a brand new chapter that was just launched. We just launched a brand new chapter on Wednesday. We have 19 new members, a chapter that's now going to be in the Bel Air area.
What's the name of the chapter?
It's called BNI Alliance. Okay.
Oh yes, and we're members of that.
You're
we're members there.
Chapter.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for a new chapter, give us a call. Send me an email at let's do the BNI Now at NowMedia.tv email. Send me an email. Let me know you're interested or you want a representative of your company into this new chapter. Right in the heart of Houston. So congrats to all the members that made this chapter and founded this chapter and were able to get this thing done. I think we launched in about 10 weeks. So right within the time frame of that rapid launch initiative that BNI now has nationwide. So another congratulations. I think Rick and James Cooper mentioned that this is, I believe, the 7th chapter that they launch in the Houston area. And more importantly, this chapter launch makes Houston the #1 most important market for BNI nationwide.
That's awesome.
So we had started the year as #1. Through the course of the year, we got passed by another part of the U.S. I'm not going to mention who it was, but with the launching of this chapter, we now regained our top spot, which is where we rightfully deserve to belong, right? I mean, everything is bigger in Texas.
Now, some of the things that I've been receiving from members, obviously, because Now Media is a proud member of BNI. But do we know when are we going to go back to meetings, like on-site meetings?
That's a fantastic question. That's a question that I know Rick gets quite a bit. I'm not a BNI representative. But I work very closely with Rick, and we have talked about this for our own chapter, BNI Latino. But it's right now still very much unknown as to what's going to happen, when we're going to go back to in-person meetings. The situation is still pretty dire as far as COVID. We're going through a second wave, an increase that we've seen, because of the holidays. So there's still no plans or set timetables on when this is going to go back to in-person meetings. But obviously, with the advent of a vaccine, we are all incredibly excited to the fact that there is a vaccine. Of course, we don't know what the time frame is on when that's going to be given out to the major, general public, when we're going to be able to get inoculated. March. Well, chances are that once that becomes widely available, BNI will probably have something to say about that, and they'll announce whatever changes they feel they can make. But for the moment, we're all still doing it via Zoom. We haven't missed a beat as far as our chapter is concerned. Hopefully, it's the same experience that everybody else is out there. And frankly, it's been a better experience because BNI has grown.
Yeah.
In the face of this pandemic, in the face of not having in-person meetings. So the Zoom meetings are working. People are still very much passing business, sending referrals, closing business. BNI has basically turned into an even larger percentage of my business based on everything that's been going on. So I feel blessed to be a part of this organization. And I'm sure that, things are just going to get better, especially once we're able to go back to in-person.
You know what? Something real quick before Jonathan sends us to break. I believe the ability to connect with other chapters via Zoom has increased because of the pandemic. Now I'm visiting, 3 or 4 chapters a week.
Right.
And I recently have become a very tight agenda with all the things that are going on. So the ability to actually go to the Zoom meeting is, for me personally, worked better. And I think we need to tell our members that being a BNI member opens up a world of possibilities. And when I'm saying world, it's true.
Literally
A world of possibilities. There is a chapter that we want to get on as soon as possible that has something called BNI Airlines.
Really? Huh.
BNI Airlines, and the whole chapter, the whole chapter travels virtually together via Zoom to other chapters. So, for example, in BNI Energy Latino, which is the one I belong to, we suddenly got 25, invites, or 25, guests to our show, to our chapter, because they travel virtually to Houston, to our chapter, and then all visit.
Amazing.
It's a pretty cool idea.
People are always innovative. I mean, and whenever you close the door, there's a window that's open for you. So there's possibilities out there. There's opportunities out there, and that's part of what I love about BNI, is that there's always a way to find something positive in everything that we do. So that's an incredible initiative. We'll have to talk about that in our chat.
Right. Yeah.
So, that being said, we'll take a little commercial break. Juan's going to stay with me as my special co-host for the day, and we have an amazing slate of guests. We have Erica Schultz is going to be with us next, and then we have Marlise Fitch-Ledbetter. Also very interesting topics, both of them. So stick with us. We'll be right back and and continue with the show. Thank you.
NowMedia Digital anunció que hoy ha finalizado las negociaciones para adquirir el canal de televisión KBQT 2110 en Houston. NowMedia comenzará la transmisión oficial el próximo 1 de enero de 2021 a las 6 de la mañana, con un noticiero en español presentado por los reconocidos periodistas Sergio Sarmiento y Lupita Juárez. NowMedia marcará el canal 2110 como NowMedia TV Canal 21 y se convertirá en el primer canal de televisión bilingüe en el estado de Texas. NowMedia, junto con su socio estratégico Heraldo Media Group, planea proporcionar contenido bilingüe de noticias, negocios, tecnología, las 24 horas del día, los 7 días de la semana. No solo a través de la señal de televisión abierta, sino también en Apple TV, Roku TV, Amazon Prime, YouTube Live TV y múltiples proveedores de televisión por Internet en la Unión Americana. En la etapa inicial, NowMedia TV Canal 21 incluirá en su programación noticieros conducidos por los periodistas de primer nivel como Adela Micha, Manuel Zamacona, Brenda Peña, Javier Solórzano, Salvador García Soto y Juan Guevara. Adicionalmente, conductores destacados como Michael Rager, Sherman On, Gilsey Sánchez, Eduardo Hurtado, Gustavo Soto, Alberto Tudela, Rick Gutiérrez y Guillermo Ochoa. Conducirán múltiples programas de negocios de nuestra barra de programación. Juan Guevara Torres, presidente del Consejo y director general de NowMedia Digital, mencionó: con esta adquisición, ahora podemos brindar contenido probado y de alta calidad que empoderará a las empresas, a sus dueños y a nuestros anunciantes en el cuarto mercado más importante en los Estados Unidos.
COVID-19 transformed the way we do business. Now more than ever, fast lead generation and customer retention will determine if a business survives or not. The NowMedia Video Business Card is designed to be sent using your smartphone. It's the next generation business card that will open the door for you while keeping social distancing. The NowMedia Video Business Card is affordable for anyone from startups to multinational companies and is already being used by hundreds of businesses. Stay open, stay in business. Call us today.
Now, more than ever, having accurate and up-to-date bookkeeping is crucial for tax and operating cost optimization. Additionally, having a reliable outside bookkeeping company ensures your books are done correctly, and there is no need for the cost of a full-time accountant. RSM Bookkeeping and Tax Services, founded by veteran Ron Maldonado, can provide different bookkeeping packages to fit your company's needs. Assist with the installation of onboarding of QuickBooks, review your books for tax preparation, assist with the creation and registration of your company and obtaining your company's EIN number with the IRS. Tax services for individuals and businesses, for sales and use tax certificates, filing franchise and sales tax reports. Take a decisive step. Call Ron Maldonado at 281-610-7039 and let RSM Bookkeeping and Tax Services be a part of your success.
And we are back. Thanks for staying with us. Have our first guest here today, because frankly, Juan doesn't count as a guest, but he owns the place. So
However, this counts as a 101,
yeah.
This is
3 now.
Yes.
Perfect.
I'll be reporting this soon.
Awesome.
So we have with us the lovely Erica Schultz. I want to say thank you for coming on the show with us. Thanks for taking the time to be with us today. She's representing the company Ellard Insurance. I don't know if it's Ellard or Ellard. Ellard Insurance. Okay.
Yes.
And so how's everything going today, Erica?
It's going well. Thank you so much for having me, for the invite. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and we were just talking that, obviously Juan and Alberto, these are Latin names, and she just broke out in Spanish. I was like, what? This is a Schultz speaking Spanish? There's something wrong here. The world is going nuts. But Erica is fully bilingual, and she basically is a specialist in commercial insurance. So tell us a little bit about what's been going on in your world recently. Obviously, the commercial space has been going through a lot of changes. Just like, let's be honest, we've all been going through, we're tired of change. The only thing I am looking forward to changing in the near future is 2020 to 2021. So what's happening in commercial insurance? Any specific COVID-related changes that have pushed contracts differently, or new things that now business owners have to worry about that maybe they didn't worry about before? Tell us a little bit about how we can help protect our businesses.
Right. So one of the biggest aspects I think that's changed is especially like in our restaurant and bar industry, right? So one of the biggest things is the fact that we're having to add delivery options, liquor is involved and different things like that. So
a lot of liquor involved. I understand that the drinking has gone up considerably since we were all stuck in our houses.
Can you blame us?
Not really.
So yeah, that's one of the biggest things is obviously as business owners, we have to adapt in order to stay in business.
Right.
And so with these changes, one of the biggest things for business owners is I need to keep my doors open. I have employees that I need to take care of. They have families to take care of. So how am I going to change along with everything that's been going on? And so those are some of the things that they've been doing, but it's time to look at your coverage as well and make sure that the type of coverage that you have is going to cover those deliveries, cover the things that you're having to change up and doing on a day-to-day basis that you weren't doing pre-COVID.
Right. So I've seen that some restaurants are now using their waiters. So in order to keep people on payroll, obviously we had the loans. You have to sort of maintain. The idea was to maintain your staff if you participate in those special loans from the government.
Right.
And I saw firsthand some restaurants that started using their waiting staff as delivery drivers.
That's right.
Okay. Of course, these delivery drivers were using their own personal cars. They weren't using company cars. And that's a lot of liability for a business owner.
That's right.
I didn't know that, but
Yes.
basically, if you send anybody as a business owner out to do anything,
When they're
it
on the
could be
clock.
do me a favor and pick me up a Snickers bar when you're on your way back from your lunch. That is considered to be a business use,
That's
and
right.
as such, you are on the
Liable.
you're liable for anything that might happen. So if you're in a car, obviously car accidents happen all the time, right? And if they're driving on your behalf, you as a company can be liable. So
Right.
making that change is a huge shift of liability.
Huge shift of liability. And like you said, even something as minor as just a fender bender, that stuff is the kind of stuff that opens you up for a liability claim. And that restaurant owner or the bar owner, they're thinking I need to keep my doors open. They're not thinking, I might need to change my coverage.
But they may need to close their doors if that person has an accident and they cause some bodily
And there's no
injury
coverage.
or bodily injury to the person that's driving, and they're not covered. You're completely opening yourself up to hundreds of thousands of dollars and
Right. Potentially closing your business, because if your insurance isn't up to date with the changes that you've made and there's no coverage, there's no telling what can happen. So yes, it's definitely one of the biggest things is when there's any kind of major changes, it's obviously like what we've had now with COVID, it's definitely time to review your coverage. So make sure that you have everything in line for that.
And I'm sure that Erica's been reaching out to her clients, right, to make sure that happens, which doesn't always happen with other insurance agencies.
Yes.
So make sure that you have a proactive agent. And if you don't, give Erica a call, because that's what she's here for. What else is going on with you in commercial insurance? So we know bars and restaurants have changed significantly. How about everybody else? And how you can help them to make sure that they're properly
Well, I do have a
covered.
question for her.
Sure.
Like, for example, if you are, I mean, a lot of people are being laid off. That's something that has happened. Or if they're not being laid off, they're being furloughed. Like, I mean, it's interesting that we're talking about media because multiple media outlets in the city of Houston, believe it or not, they are furloughing their employees. They go on the air 8 times from 10 times a week. Now they're going on 2 or 3. Okay. So what happens is that person needs to make that income somehow. I'm not talking about media specifically, but somebody who works on an oil and gas industry. So people like, you know, they might just go start Instacart. They might just go do DoorDash. Right. So do they have to have Uber? Do they have to have a commercial insurance?
No. So with some, and this might actually be a question for you with the personal lines side. There are policies that you can have that are personal lines policies, like your regular auto policy, depending on the carrier, that can endorse the policy to make sure that things like that are covered. Not every company does it, but now that it's been much more of a need, where there are so many other people that are getting involved with the Uber Eats and the Uber and DoorDash and all those things, in order to avoid having to lose those clients to commercial policies, they're allowing their clients to endorse the current policy that they have to cover those things.
Yep. That's absolutely true. And, you know, all of the major carriers have done it. And if they haven't done it specifically, they've issued some sort of a special dispensation. They've done special dispensation for this situation because everybody recognizes that COVID has been a complete game changer for a lot of people, and people need to go out there and earn a living. They need to have an income. So if they've been furloughed or laid off or anything else, you know, they're looking for immediate sources of income. And of course, the gig economy, which is what we call it, right? There's the Uber and DoorDash and everything else that you can do as far as sharing services has been grown tremendously because of that. And most of the major carriers will allow some dispensation for that. So, but if you're with one of the smaller carriers, if you're with one small regional Houston or Texas carrier, I would recommend that you look at other options because typically those are the carriers that are going to tell you, no, it's not in our contract, we're not going to cover it, and then you're out of luck.
You know what? Something that as a business owner we need to be aware of is the amount of coverage that you have.
That's right.
You might be covered, and I've seen this over and over again. Like, for example, with the move that we're doing today, well, you know, it's important for us to make sure that if we're going to acquire some equipment, we need to bump up our coverage. Just because that's just the way it is. You become more riskier just because when you start doing more business, you require more revenue. You're open up to a lot of things. So how often do you think is a good idea to start revising the commercial policy with your insurance company?
There should be annual reviews regardless, just because there can be so many things that change on, you know, throughout the year. And sometimes a portion of your commercial insurance is also geared or based off of your sales. So if you're changing, then that's also going to affect the premium. So there definitely should still be annual reviews, but if you're making changes, sort of like what you're doing where you're adding more equipment, where you're adding more employees, anything like that, that is definitely a cause for a phone call to your agent and making sure that everybody is covered.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to say, I mean, I've heard these, and I'm going to paraphrase a little bit. To succeed in the United States, coming from abroad, which is my case, you have to have 3 things. I'm going to add another one. You have to have a good lawyer, you have to have a good CPA, you have to have a good doctor, but also you have to have a good insurance agent.
That's right.
Because really and truly, you don't care, quite frankly, about who is the carrier. At the end of the day, you develop a personal relation with your agent.
That's right.
And that's the person who needs to know exactly what you're going through, your needs, and it's an important, you're bilingual, which is awesome.
Right.
I think the important thing is to reach out an agent that you feel comfortable with, that you can actually share things in confidence. It's
That
like
you can trust.
That you can trust. That he's kind of your father
Yes.
confessor. It's like, yeah, I don't like that guy, or yes, I like this, or I'm going through this and that.
Right.
That so they can tailor that policy and fight for you with the carrier. That's your
Right.
job, guys.
Right.
And I'm very grateful that we have people like you guys, where we just tell you our needs and you go battle for us.
Right. So one of the things I've been in insurance for over 15 years. I originally started in personal lines, and that's more of a cookie cutter type, right? The insurance company gives you your guidelines. This is what you need to meet. If they don't meet it, then you move on. But when it comes to commercial, I've noticed that there's a better sense of communication when you have your underwriters that you can talk to. And like you said, if you have a good insurance agent, somebody that's going to listen to you and know what you need, then they can go to bat with those underwriters, even if they might say, this may not look like it qualifies, but hang on, let me show you why, and this and that, And so having that communication with somebody where you have the ability to really help your client and tailor the policy to them and what they need is a significant change that I really like, coming over to the commercial side.
Not only that, I think that also the agent becomes more important, frankly, who you're dealing with when you're talking about the commercial side, because there's a lot more pitfalls and a lot more blind spots, a lot more gaps that can happen in the commercial side versus the personal side, because those policies are not cookie cutter, just like you said, template policies. Right. So where can people reach you at, Erica? What's the best way to reach you?
So our office is located in the Woodlands, either phone or email. And do we give our contact?
Yeah, you can, sure. Absolutely.
Perfect. Okay, so Ellard Insurance, we are at 25511 Booty Road in the Woodlands. Email is erica@ellardinsurance.com, and they can reach me at 281-515-2122.
And which BNI chapter are you a member of?
Unlimited.
BNI Unlimited. Shout out to Unlimited.
Shout
Thanks
out to
for
the
being
best
with
group.
us.
Yes.
Before you go, if you don't mind, who is your ideal referral? Who are you looking? I mean, if we need to refer you business, who is the person that you're looking for?
So obviously business owners, but my thing that I'm gearing towards this year with all of the changes going on, I want all those new people that got furloughed or that got laid off and they said, I'm gonna go and start a business. I've had clients like that. I have a personal friend of mine who her husband did the same thing. He worked on heavy trucks, 18-wheelers and things like that. And lo and behold, 6 months later, he has a company and he is going.
It can be a blessing. I mean, like
Yes.
I said, close the door, open a window.
That's right.
Something's always available.
That's right. Change is uncomfortable, but it definitely can be a good thing with the right mindset.
Fantastic, Erica. Thanks again for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll be back in a little bit with our last guest. Stay with us.
COVID-19 transformed the way we do business. Now more than ever, fast lead generation and customer retention will determine if a business survives or not. The NowMedia video business card is designed to be sent using your smartphone. It's the next generation business card that will open the door for you while keeping social distancing. The NowMedia video business card is affordable for anyone from startups to multinational companies and is already being used by hundreds of businesses. Stay open, stay in business. Call us today.
Do you want to experience the ease and convenience of the latest and most advanced home security system? Are you going away on vacation and want to have peace of mind while you're not at your home or at your office? According to the FBI, a robbery occurs every 13 seconds, and homes and businesses without a security system are 300% more likely to be burglarized. Hawk Security provides security solutions to residential and small businesses in the state of Texas and from California to Georgia, building a custom-tailored security setup that matches your needs. Whether it is home security, fire and carbon monoxide detection, flood detection, connected senior care, managed video surveillance solutions, alarm monitoring, and life safety. In addition to fire and carbon monoxide detection, Hawk Security has a smart home and business integration, expanding security services to a lifestyle solution, keeping customers connected to their home and businesses from anywhere in the world, from their tablet or mobile device, so you can have peace of mind even if you're not at home or in your office. Reduce your energy cost, scheduling automatic changes in thermostats or lighting. And because we rely on our heroes every single day, Hawk Security offers security services discounts to military personnel, veterans, first responders, educators, and hospital personnel. Our mission is to keep our clients safe, treat them like family, and provide them with a user-friendly security system with personalized customer service 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. For integrity, honesty, passion, and excellent customer service, take a strong step today toward getting protected and call Rosana Torres at 832-863-8574 because every home and business is unique and every security system should be unique too.
NowMedia Digital anunció que hoy ha finalizado las negociaciones para adquirir el canal de televisión KBQT 2110 en Houston. NowMedia comenzará la transmisión oficial el próximo 1 de enero del 2021 a las 6 de la mañana, con un noticiero en español presentado por los reconocidos periodistas Sergio Sarmiento y Lupita Juárez. NowMedia marcará el canal 2110 como NowMedia TV Canal 21 y se convertirá en el primer canal de televisión bilingüe en el estado de Texas. NowMedia, junto con su socio estratégico Heraldo Media Group, planea proporcionar contenido bilingüe de noticias, negocios, tecnología, las 24 horas del día, los 7 días de la semana. No solo a través de la señal de televisión abierta, sino también en Apple TV, Roku TV, Amazon Prime, YouTube Live TV y múltiples proveedores de televisión por Internet en la Unión Americana. En la etapa inicial, NowMedia TV Canal 21 incluirá en su programación noticieros conducidos por los periodistas de primer nivel como Adela Micha, Manuel Zamacona, Brenda Peña, Javier Solórzano, Salvador García Soto y Juan Guevara. Adicionalmente, conductores destacados como Michael Rager, Sherman On, Gilsi Sánchez, Eduardo Hurtado, Gustavo Soto, Alberto Tudela, Rick Gutiérrez y Guillermo Ochoa. Conducirán múltiples programas de negocios de nuestra barra de programación. Juan Guevara Torres, presidente del Consejo y director general de NowMedia Digital, mencionó: con esta adquisición, ahora podemos brindar contenido probado y de alta calidad que empoderará a las empresas, a sus dueños y a nuestros anunciantes en el cuarto mercado más importante en los Estados Unidos.
Graphic design, banners, brochures, business cards, posters, any printing you need for your company's branding, Priority Printing SS is your solution. With more than 30 years of experience, Priority Printing SS has been the preferred solution for hundreds of companies for any printed materials. At Priority Printing SS, they believe in listening to you, bringing you creative ideas to effective results. Your printed materials talk about your company. Make sure they open the door for you. Trust your printed materials to the experts. Call Priority Printing SS at 713-575-9800 and let Priority Printing SS handle with ease all your printing needs.
Welcome back. We're here. This is our last segment, and we have, I'm going to say we saved the best for last, because this is a very, very interesting topic, something completely new, sort of mind-breaking, mind-shattering in a little bit. I thought I knew a little bit about this, and it turns out I don't really know much of anything, and you can certainly tell when you talk to an expert. So I want to welcome Marlise Fitch Ledbetter, CPC. You're going to have to clarify what CPC means.
CPC is a certification for personnel consultants, actually. So I actually help people in careers as well. But I am also a certified medical cannabis advisor. I have 6 other different types of certifications and seminars that I've completed under the entire canopy of cannabis, which marijuana and hemp both fall under, and we'll probably touch on that as well.
Yes, we're going to touch on that quite a bit. So Marlise's company is called the Indie Hemp Company, right?
Yes.
And I had a chance to sort of talk to Marlise a little bit off camera, and really I like I said, I can tell that we're in the presence here of somebody that knows all of the ins and outs. I mean, it was pretty interesting. Yes,
I do know
she
my
knows her hemp. So tell us a little bit about the company first of all.
Sure.
Sort of what your focus is, and then we'll go into all of those sort of misconceptions.
Yes.
All of those not nasty, but those situations that people don't really understand about cannabinoids, hemp, and the differences between that and recreational use, marijuana, THC, and all that fun stuff. So tell us a little bit about the company.
Yeah, so 7 years ago, I got into using CBD because let's just say traditional medicine failed me. I had major complications. I was born with a lot of different disorders, so I was on 12 different types of medications, lots of side effects, and we had heard about CBD, and I thought, well, how great would it be to get the medical benefits of something like marijuana without the high? Right? Like if you could get all the benefits of wine without getting drunk every day, wouldn't that be fantastic? Like could you stop the aging process? So kind of the same sort of thing, get all the medical benefits from the plant without getting the high, without having the high levels of THC. So we dove into it 7 years ago, and it was miraculous what it did for my body, what it did for my husband. I just kept referring it to people, and I realized very quickly that everyone was very miseducated on the entire industry, the plant. We had been telling people lies for so many years when really it was all about political gain, greed, and a lot of things that were going on with a lot of different types of industries. And so I created Indie Hemp Company with the understanding that people needed to be educated, they needed to be privately consulted, and a lot of people that are looking for products like CBD want to have a guide, like a doctor, but someone who has a medical background or somebody who has an expertise in cannabis, medical cannabis, whether it's hemp or whatever, to walk them through that. Because you walk into a store, you might not be comfortable buying the product on the shelf. Do you know where it comes from? Do you know how to use it? And who's going to walk you through all of the changes as your body continues to change with it?
And we've seen a huge, these stores are popping up left
Everywhere.
and right, CBD here, CBD there. I don't know what they're, where all these companies are popping up from. And
we don't even know.
Right. And so you don't really know where you're getting it from, right?
No.
And what about the people? What kind of expertise do they really have to tell you whether you should be taking this amount or that amount?
Yep.
Because we're talking about dosage, we're talking about the actual product itself, how I don't know how
purity,
the active
testing,
ingredient in it, and everything else. So, what makes your company different than all of those other pop-ups that have sort of come and gone over the years?
Well, we are just a consultancy. So people hire us to walk them through whether they're a practitioner, a holistic practitioner, a medical practitioner, or a consumer. And so we help educate them on how the endocannabinoid system works, how CBD works within the body, if there are medication interactions, and we do have a team of medical experts that can help guide. So if there's a pharmacist that needs to look at medicines, or we need to have a nutritionist come on site, things like that, we have the whole team in place. Whereas in a store, you're just going and buying a product off the shelf, you buy something on sale, and that's about all you get from a retail store. So I really felt like we needed to bridge that gap.
Right.
Another thing that we do is we actually research the products that people use. So if someone comes in and they're already using a CBD product, the first thing I like to do is make sure that it's a quality product. We look at verified third-party testing to make sure that what is in the product is what shows on the label. Does it have impurities? Does it have chemicals, pesticides, chemical solvents? Where is it sourced from? Is it even from the United States? Can you trust the hemp that you're getting? And most of it's coming from overseas still, because there hasn't been a lot of regulation there. The hemp industry is expanding rapidly from the federal regulations that have come into place in 2014 and then clarified in 2018, but it's still the Wild West. There's no real federal oversight for the industry.
There's no federal. That's all
so we're getting
level,
a lot
right?
of it
and
imported.
What's happening is that the states are fighting with because they're in conflict. The laws are in direct conflict.
And it's hard because when you think about it, so we're talking about the hemp industry, so fiber hemp, plastics, fuel, all of these things can be made from hemp, but it's also still a medicinal product. And when we look at its cousin, marijuana, it's really the same species. So like I said before, you and I are both Homo sapiens, but you're illegal and I'm not because of the variances of THC. And really, naturally the plant produces higher levels of THC than even the federal government allows us to farm. So there's a lot of this gray area saying what's a medical benefit, where does it stop, and why can't we federalize or federally legalize it so that we can get the research done on the plant like it should. And that's really what it comes to. That's why I'm an advocate for it.
And just to clarify, actually the substance that gets you high is the THC.
Yes, THC.
So that's kind of the enemy.
Yes. If
That's
you
the
see
crazy uncle.
Yeah, the crazy uncle.
Yeah, right.
The cannabinoid delta 9 THC, and there's also another cannabinoid called delta 8 THC. So that delta in front of it really means that it's psychotropic. And that means it accesses the brain. It can change your euphoria levels, obviously make you feel stoned or
Perception.
high. Perception. Yeah, it can definitely make you feel intoxicated. Whereas in the products that we sell, there are trace amounts of THC in some of our products and some of them don't. THC is a very important cannabinoid, and it has to be used, for certain types of ailments, and a lot of research shows that certain levels help with certain things, but predominantly what people are using it for: anxiety, stress, pain,
Sleeping.
memory, sleep.
Yes.
Yeah, sleep for sure.
Yeah.
Those things are best regulated with a very high level of CBD, and CBD is that predominant molecule that you're seeing on the streets today.
So 2 words I want you to clarify for me,
Sure.
because I was doing, I was listening to some of your videos on your website, which were very, very informative, by the way.
Thank you.
Endocannabinoid system,
Yes.
right?
Could you repeat that?
Wow.
Number one.
Bravo. That's
So
a
there's
hard one.
there's actually a system in your body that has the word cannabinoid in it. So this was mind blowing to me. And then the other one was homeostasis.
Homeostasis,
Also, which
yes.
sounds like a sci-fi term. So can you tell us a little bit about what those words
Sure.
mean and why they're important?
Absolutely. So the endocannabinoid system was discovered in '94 when they were isolating the molecules and seeing how they respond to the body. The endocannabinoid system is this massive, massive system that works on the cellular level. So your brain cells, your nerve cells, your muscle tissue cells, your skin cells, all of the different organs in your body have different types of cells. And inside them, they have receptors that speak to each other. So there's information that gets sent to the neurons, and then the rest of the body knows what to do. The endocannabinoid system regulates everything in the body, including the brain.
Wow.
So your chemical productions, your sleep functions, your response to inflammation, stressors, everything that you can think about that makes you feel good and balanced is what the endocannabinoid system does. So if you're way too stressed and your levels are too high, it brings it back down, but not below the level that's normal. And if you're way down here, it's helping bring you back up. And helping cravings, your memory, your food, everything that you feel, thirst. People feel thirstier on CBD, and they're like, why is that? Your body's telling you that you're dehydrated. Or why do I feel a little bit tired in the afternoon? You need a nap. People need more sleep. And so the endocannabinoid system regulates all of that. And it's probably one of the most important discoveries in medical history that we're not actually teaching our doctors. And only 5 years ago did they implement it in medical school because they couldn't figure out how do we fit in cannabis with the rest of traditional medicine. And so what the endocannabinoid system does is allows you over time to get to what we call homeostasis, which is the perfect balance for your body where everything is working in conjunction, everything's speaking to each other, your body is very healthy. And some people, it takes a really long time to get to homeostasis, depending on what kind of stressors, toxins, diet, lifestyle that you have going on.
And I have a question on that. What type of CBD actually helps you to get balance?
It depends on what's going on with your body. So there are certain types of CBD products that you can get. We have what's called isolated CBD, which is just the CBD molecule by itself. We've got broad spectrum, which will contain lots of different other cannabinoids, and there are minor cannabinoids like CBG, CBN, CBC, and they all have their jobs. And then we have full spectrum, which contains THC. I always typically tell people work with the most natural state of the plant, which includes THC. It's very small levels. You won't get high. It's non-psychotropic, but THC still has a very important value to muscle spasticity, spasms, pain, relaxation, things like that. So I always ask people, are you drug tested? If you're not drug tested or have any reason to be drug tested, then let's go with the full spectrum, because the full spectrum has all the cannabinoids. It's like teamwork. They work together synergistically. Typically, people have a better effect faster with a lower dose with the full spectrum product versus isolating THC from the rest of the plant and taking it that way. And that's just based on studies and working with thousands of people over the past 5 years.
Now, there's one thing that actually, you know what, I I don't know if you have, but I haven't taken any CBD products.
I do, actually.
Well, you do? Yes. You need to sleep better.
Yes, well, it's helped me sleep better.
You know,
Yeah.
I haven't. And you just took something that is very important, and is related to you. When you are applying for life insurance,
Yes.
and in my case, I have to have multiple life insurance. Not only one, but multiple.
Right.
Okay? One of the things that they do is they will test you for drugs.
They will.
Okay? You have to pee on the cup. Period. That's it. The problem is, if you take CBD products, it's going to appear that you're taking drugs when you're actually not.
Sure, that's true.
But it depends, doesn't it? Depends on.
Well, it
whether or
depends
not
on the
it
product.
has-
So you want to make sure that you use a product that says THC free on it. And then additionally, you want to check the labs. So even if the product says it on the label, you want to make sure that a third party lab that's verified, that maybe has an ISO certification or good manufacturing process certification, you know the product is made by the regulations that the federal government has given us. Then you can be sure that there's no traces of THC. And then you can take it one step further, take an at-home drug test, see if you're popping positive, and then you make sure you work with your practitioner or your advisor to make sure that you're on a product that's not going to show up positive for drugs. I have worked with people that are heavy haulers, medical professionals, all types of people, and we've never had someone test positive on a drug test because we know what are in our products. But life insurance, there are people, companies that do have policies that will cover people that use cannabinoids and cannabis in legal
we do.
states.
Actually, all states now recently changed their guidelines, their underwriting guidelines, and now we consider even if they're consistent marijuana smokers, we will now take them on.
Right.
So
Really?
it's become so widespread. I mean, the reality is that
And it's not even about drugs, it's about tobacco use because they put marijuana under a smoker and the smoker becomes high risk versus using a cannabinoid under the tongue or topically as a medicine, which, by the way, no topicals can show up on a drug test.
The reason why I'm telling you this is because I think there is a procedure on the insurance, and you probably know more than this, where you disclose to the underwriter, hey, I'm taking these type of CBDs, here's the formula, so you need to do a second test, I believe, where they test for the bad THC.
normally they
Yeah,
don't
they
ask
can do
specifically about. They're only going to ask about prescribed medication.
Yeah.
And CBD typically is not under prescribed. Doctor prescribed medication. It's it's an over-the-counter drug.
Right.
CBD you can buy.
I mean,
from
it's not
her.
even over the counter.
Right.
The FDA won't even consider it a supplement yet, and that's one of the reasons why federal legalization has to happen because hemp is still cannabis. And when you have a controlled substance, a level 1, right, next to heroin, I think heroin actually is level 2. So like marijuana is higher. When you have a controlled substance like that, we can't put it as a supplement or a dietary product or an over-the-counter product, and it can't be tested for medical research. And that's why it's so important for us to get it declassified as an entire species so that it can be controlled and researched as a whole. And people don't realize that you can't really separate a species apart, just like you can't separate a man and a woman. We knew how bad that worked for a long time.
Yeah, I agree.
That's very important. This is very important because, there's some legislation going on right now. It's very important because
There you go. Yeah, Schedule 1 is cannabis, ecstasy, peyote, LSD, and then Schedule 2, heroin falls under, which we all know is...
so heroin is worse than marijuana according to that regulation. That's crazy.
No, it's less. It's not as bad. Methadone. Yeah, so you're seeing a lot of opiates and meth products, Vicodin, cocaine as Schedule 2. Schedule 1 means that there is absolutely no accepted medical use and it's high potential for abuse. Wow. And actually on the websites for drug abuse, marijuana is less than 10% addictive. So there's actually every literal other illegal drug is 20, 30, 40, far worse.
Right.
And no one's ever died from an overdose from marijuana.
I mean,
we all
even
know that, but we still continue to prescribe opiates.
Something that's happened very recently, and there has been a serious cause of debate in Latin America, especially Mexico, is that they just approved marijuana for leisure. For the country. That's
like California, like Colorado.
But I understand there is an initiative in the Congress in the United States.
There is. It just passed the House.
It just passed the House?
It just passed the House, I want to say last week. And of course, we have to go to the Senate now. So the Senate is Republican majority,
Right.
and this is where we come into a lot of situations. A lot of people argue the drug or the gun ownership, but according to firearms and tobacco, if you don't have a controlled substance in your system, then it wouldn't ever be illegal. So then it doesn't become a conflict, which a lot of people in Texas want to have a firearm and smoke marijuana. So if we make it a non-controlled substance, then that wouldn't be a problem at all.
Well, I think that has it been on the ballot here in Texas? It has.
It has been considered. It hasn't moved very far. So the more that we can do to educate, which is what my job is, I am first an educator and a historian on cannabis and hemp, and number two, obviously, a practitioner. But for me to get out there and tell more people about it so that they can do their research is more important to me than anything, because I think that we've been lied to for way too long, and this is a very high potential and ethical drug that can be used for millions and millions of people, and maybe we can actually see people heal.
So if we have this type of regulation happening, unclear situation as to what the standing of this is, but yet you have these stores popping up all over the place. I mean, frankly, I've seen probably 10 of these go up around, where I live, where I work in the last probably 2 years. How can you reconcile those two things? I mean,
Sure.
You were talking a little bit about the difficulties that you have with your business because of that regulation and the legality of it. So tell us a little bit more about that as sort of the last segment, because then we have to get off the air.
So in 2018, they did clarify the scheduling of hemp being less than 0.3% THC, and then marijuana being anything above that. So all of the products have to be under a certain amount of THC for it to be classified as hemp. Is there really like a hemp strain and a marijuana strain? Kind of, but they're really still all the same species, and they're just farmed differently and have different strains. So for them to be able to do that, you have to prove that. Is there really a body of regulation that's checking that? Not really. So as soon as Texas gets revenue from CBD sales and industrial hemp, we will be able to create a regulatory bottle to be able to go around and actually check these stores. And I have a feeling as soon as we start getting revenue and we create a policing regulatory body, we'll see probably 90% of them go away, because they're not following the rules. So that's why it's so important for you to work with a trusted advisor, know what kind of products you're taking, where they come from, and make sure that they do classify as hemp.
Wow.
Who's your ideal referral?
An idea referral for me is obviously somebody who has hit a wall with traditional medicine, that is looking for something different, something natural. Maybe they're trying to get off some medications, and we'll work with their doctor on that. We'll make sure that they're being, put through a procedure to do what the doctor wants first, but also listening to the patient, and also I think sleep and stress and memory.
Killers.
Yeah, sleep is really the one that we notice the biggest difference so quickly, and with a healthy lifestyle, we can really change the health of the entire nation. And I think that CBD is one of those things that is really going to show a difference.
And how can people get in touch with you?
Sure. So the best way to reach me is on social media, on Facebook and Instagram. I also have a website, Indie Hemp Company, INDIEHEMPCO, so Indie Hemp Co. You can chat with us on the website. You can schedule a consult. The best thing to do is to schedule a 30-minute free consult if you're a BNI member, or a $25 consultation, and we will work with your doctors on your medication as well.
Well, thank you so much, Marlise, for being with us. I hope that
you.
you've all found this as educational as I have. It's been an unbelievable show. We look forward to having you again next week, where Rick Gutierrez will be sitting in this chair talking with some other members. I want to thank all the members that came in today. Juan, congratulations on the expansion of, not just NowMedia, but also BNI. So we look forward to growing with you. I want to thank Erica Schultz for being with us as well with the commercial insurance, and ultimately Marlise Fitch Ledbetter, also for such an interesting and educational topic.
Thank you guys for having me so much.
So you guys have a great week. We'll see you again next Friday, and be good.
Talk with Sherman. Very excited to be with you today. Have some wonderful news here from Now Media. Juan just brought this right up to me here. Very exciting news on December 8th. This was announced that Now Media Digital announced today that it's in final negotiations with acquiring KVQT TV channel 21.10. Now Media will begin official broadcast of this coming January 2021 at 6 a.m. with a Spanish telecast hosted by well-known journalists Sergio Sarmiento and Lupita Juarez. So very excited. Sorry if I mispronounced their names. And then Now Media will brand channel 21.10 as Now Media TV channel 21 and will become the first bilingual TV station in Texas. Can't believe it took 2021 to actually have that happen, that we have Spanish and English in one channel. But that's what Juan does. Now Media, along with a strategic partner of Heraldo Media Group, plans to provide news, business, and technology bilingual content 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, not only over the airwaves, but also with a multimedia platform that includes live television on Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Prime, and Google Live TV, in addition to premium internet provider television outlets all over the U.S. In the initial stages, Now Media TV, Channel 21 will include their programming newscasts hosted by established journalists like Adela Micha, Manuel Zamacoma, Brenda Pena, Javier Solozano, and Juan Guerra, and Guillermo Ocha. In addition, prominent hosts will include Michael Rager, yours truly, Sherman On, Gilcy Sanchez, Eduardo Hurtado, Gustavo Soto, Alberto Tudela, and Rick Guterres. So Juan Torres, President and CEO of Now Media Digital, said, "Now we can provide high-quality, proven content that will serve and empower businesses and the respective business owners in the fourth largest market within the United States." So very exciting news here at Now Media. Excited. Obviously, we've been doing this now, Jonathan, for over a year. The Guest in the West, and now the Biz Talk with Sherman. As a lot of you know, this is the part-time gig that we do here. Just a ton of fun to be able to share the stories of business owners, entrepreneurs, and of course those are kind of the sales, marketing, business development of various businesses on why Houston is a great place to work, live, and play. And so without further ado, first guest on today is April from Align Theta Center. Thank you so much for coming in on Biz Talk with Sherman today.
Thank you for having me, Sherman.
All right, so that was a long introduction, and we're going to jump right in because you are really helping a lot of families deal with some really serious situations. So tell us first about what is Align Theta. What do you guys do over there?
All right, thank you. Align Theta Center offers an alternative mental health service. And so our ThetaPod technology does one 30-minute session that combines 4 treatment modalities to help with mental health. We found it very effective in helping with depression, anxiety, PTSD, ADD, and addictions of all kinds.
Okay, so when people hear a pod, they're thinking maybe I'm going through some kind of hyperspace. What's happening here? What is this kind of contraption that we're talking about?
It does look a little space age. It's very interesting technology. It looks kind of like a tanning bed, and you lay inside it and it spins. That's the vestibular motion, which is one of those 4 modalities. And you don't feel like you're spinning from the inside. And so after the first rotation, it feels kind of like you're floating. It's also been referred to as a virtual float tank. And it's a very relaxing experience. It's a sensory deprivation experience, so you feel kind of like you're on a cruise ship. And it doesn't feel like you're moving, even though you're spending the entire 30 minutes.
Wow, that's amazing. And so how do you get introduced to this, April? How did you, because you mentioned before that you're a life coach, and then so how did you get introduced to the pod?
Yes, so I'm a life coach and a mental health advocate, and I was starting a nonprofit to help with PTSD and trauma. And a friend of mine said, hey, I know a veteran in Utah who's also starting a nonprofit. And so I connected with him through Facebook, and I asked, what have you found helpful for PTSD? And this is what he told me.
Wow.
And I'd never heard of a ThetaPod before. I had been doing research exhaustively for PTSD for years and was amazed that I'd never seen anything like this before. It's been around for over 30 years, and the founder and the CEO in Utah actually developed this technology himself and has been using it personally there for 30 years.
That's amazing. So in all your research and obviously dealing with people over the years with anxiety, PTSD, what's been typically the approach at kind of helping people deal with those kinds of conditions?
Usually talk therapy and medication are the top two therapies, and we feel like those have a very valuable place for people, and there's no one size fits all. What the veteran expressed to me was that he never felt better than when he came out of his theta pod sessions, and that he really liked that he didn't have to talk about his trauma. A lot of people, they don't want to spend an hour a week talking about their trauma. And so this helps resolve the trauma without them having to talk about it and relive it.
Oh, that's amazing. And that's just, I think, the power of being able to offer something like this to the community is that you're giving them an alternative to the traditional way of talk and prescribe.
Yes, and we also want to partner with local therapists. We feel like there's a very valuable space for talk therapy. A lot of people do have situations where it makes them feel much better. I personally have done EMDR therapy and found that to be very effective, and especially with PTSD. And so we refer people to local therapists all the time because we want to partner with them. We feel like doing both will help them get much better, much faster.
Oh, that's amazing. And so this really gives the patient the opportunity to really, if they're open and willing, and at that point they're ready to talk about those things, you guys can then partner up with some of our local therapists in town to be able to provide that kind of service.
Yes.
All right. Now, you mentioned something that a lot of people might not have picked up there, the EMRD.
EMDR.
Okay.
That's eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. And so EMDR is a very effective therapy that engages both sides of the brain. A lot of time what happens with PTSD is those memories kind of splinter and go to different areas of the brain, and then they show up at random times throughout your day.
Okay.
So the idea is to engage your entire brain in that process and put those memories back together and work through those emotions so that they don't keep coming with you every day.
Gotcha. And so with a lot of people, when they think of PTSD, they often think of, hey, I'm in kind of war-torn Afghanistan in the military. How can other people be experiencing PTSD and maybe even noticing it?
Yeah, that's a great question. So most people think of PTSD for veterans only, but what we found is that there are many everyday people who have PTSD from a variety of different situations. A lot of times it's from abuse or growing up with an alcoholic parent, sexual abuse. It could be sustained trauma over time of dealing with abuse or neglect, or it could be something like a car accident or a fire, something that causes a trauma. In that moment, everything can change. And not everyone will develop PTSD. About 25% of people are pre-wired to develop PTSD, experiencing the same trauma that someone else does.
Gotcha. Okay. And so each person is going to react differently to a variety of different situations. So the kind of the old school kind of mentality of, oh, don't worry, you'll get over it, give it time, doesn't necessarily work for everybody.
That's true. And then that also adds to the stigma of feeling like I should just be able to get over this and move on.
Yeah. And well, you bring up a really interesting point about stigma, and you talk about being an advocate. Why is that so important for you, especially at Theta, Align Theta, to be able to kind of make it more approachable?
So for me, it's very personal. Coming from my own experience, I developed PTSD from complex trauma, which means a lot of things in life continuing to pile on and dealing with crisis mode for an extended time. My son developed PTSD from a childhood trauma. And so it was very personal and looking for help for my own family in the beginning. And what I learned is that navigating the mental health system here and finding the right help is very complicated. And so when I heard about this alternative therapy, I just love the idea of giving families more choices We've intentionally made our protocols very affordable for families, and we started a nonprofit at the same time because we recognize that mental health care often isn't covered by insurance, and it's expensive for families to get the help that they need.
It sure is. As people are listening here or watching, how can they know if this is maybe something that they should be investigating?
Well, so we see a wide variety of clients at Align. If you're dealing with a situation where you're dealing with depression or anxiety, or in any way feeling like your life is being affected daily with mental health, then we invite you to come in for a free tour and a free spin in the pod to see if it's something that might benefit you.
That's amazing. So when someone comes in for the pod, do they need to do anything to prepare for that?
No, actually, it looks kind of like a tanning bed. You just lay in it fully dressed. I've had people ask, "What should I wear?" It doesn't matter what you wear. You can just wear your everyday clothes, and so it does, light therapy, and it has headphones that you wear, and you just lay down, and it does, the therapy for you. So you don't need to do anything special to prepare. Just set up a time that you have, about an hour to come in and learn more about it. And we always do a free spin because no one has ever experienced anything like it before. And no one believes us that it doesn't feel like you're spinning.
So with that kind of in mind, I know one of the biggest difficulties for a lot of people is being still, right? Having that mental mindset. What should people be thinking when they're spinning?
Well, that's part of the interesting thing in creating these new neural pathways. It induces the theta state in your brain. And so it's a state of deep relaxation just before you fall asleep. So the theta pod itself causes you to relax. So we've had so many people say, "I'm going to take a nap in there next time." And we have had a few people do that. We actually have different meditations that you can listen to while you're in the pod, or we offer spa music or whatever you feel most comfortable with. But it's a very relaxing experience, and we find that whatever people start out thinking about, they end up coming out feeling relaxed.
That's amazing. So what's a way for someone to be able to maybe book one of those spins?
You can visit our website at alignthetacenter.com, and that has our booking information on it and also our phone number and our email address.
All right. So for those that are listening in podcast format, what's the phone number that they can maybe jot it down?
That's a good question.
So this is what I have, April.
Oh, that's great.
It's 832-797-7067.
That's my cell number, and that is perfect. Also, 832-262-1170 is our office line.
Perfect. And then again, for those that are listening in the podcast, it's Align, ALIGN, then Theta, THETA, Center.
Yes.
.com. Okay, perfect. So for those that are listening, that's probably the best place to go, website, to be able to maybe book that tour, book that spin, to be able to really experience it for someone that might be experiencing maybe some anxiety or some PTSD in their life.
Yes.
All right. Is there anything else kind of from a symptom perspective, if someone's feeling that they need to talk to a professional or experience something like that, anything that kind of comes to mind that you want to make sure that they're aware of, that they might be dealing with?
Well, I think the biggest thing that we hear is that people aren't sure what feels normal, if what they're dealing with and what they're feeling is outside of the realm of normal. And so I guess what I would like for people to hear is that it's time to reach out if every day you're feeling concerned about if what you're thinking is normal.
That's really good advice. And thank you so much for coming in and sharing your story. April is the owner and founder of the Align Theta Center here in Houston. And so go check out the website, everybody, alignthetacenter.com, and be able to check out your free spin. All right, Jonathan, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to come back, everybody, and talk with Bob Parliament over at Workforce Solutions.
Hi, this is Alberto Tudela.
The Houston metro area has experienced a substantial increase of wind and hail damage, flooding, and other perils in the last 5 years. Now more than ever, it is critical and essential to ensure your company, your property, as well as your family have the right insurance coverage. Tudela Insurance Solutions offers a wide variety of insurance for home, auto, property, as well as life insurance. My goal is to find a tailored option that guarantees the right coverage at the right price, specific to your needs, present and future, so you protect what matters the most. Call me today at 713-714-4475 and allow our team at Tudela Insurance Solutions to make sure you're protected. Accidents never happen when we expect them. Now is the time to ensure you have peace of mind.
COVID-19 transformed the way we do business. Now more than ever, fast lead generation and customer retention will determine if a business survives or not. The NowMedia Video Business Card is designed to be sent using your smartphone. It's the next generation business card that will open the door for you while keeping social distancing. The NowMedia Video Business Card is affordable for anyone from startups to multinational companies and is already being used by hundreds of businesses. Stay open, stay in business. Call us today.
Now, more than ever, having accurate and up-to-date bookkeeping is crucial for tax and operating cost optimization. Additionally, having a reliable outside bookkeeping company ensures your books are done correctly, and there is no need for the cost of a full-time accountant. RSM Bookkeeping and Tax Services, founded by veteran Ron Maldonado, can provide different bookkeeping packages to fit your company's needs. Assist with the installation of onboarding of QuickBooks, review your books for tax preparation, assist with the creation and registration of your company and obtaining your company's EIN number with the IRS. Tax services for individuals and businesses, for sales and use tax certificates, filing franchise and sales tax reports. Take a decisive step. Call Ron Maldonado at 281-610-7039 and let RSM Bookkeeping and Tax Services be a part of your success.
Welcome back to Biz Talk with Sherman. Thanks again to April coming on from Align Theta Center. Just excited about what she's been able to do and helping those that are suffering right now from anxiety, PTSD. Again, folks, if you want to check out the website, alignthetacenter.com. I'm Sherman, your host with Mutual of Omaha, and very excited to have on Bob Parliament from Workforce Solutions. Bob, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for inviting me. It's always great, first of all, to see you, Sherman, and also just to be able to talk about the great things we're doing at Workforce Solutions. There's so many things we're doing to help both employers and individuals in a 13-county area that we'd love to be able to talk about it.
This is amazing. So first off, you guys basically blanket the entire area of Houston.
Well, Houston, the Gulf Coast area, the 13 counties we cover, all the way north of Huntsville down to Wharton Bay City or Missouri City, Fort Bend, over to Baytown.
Okay.
So we're a very wide area of coverage.
So almost 7 to 8 million people is your geography.
Absolutely.
And so with the different locations, how many locations do you guys actually have that are physically open right now?
Well, all 30 locations we have are open for some curbside. We don't.
Okay.
Most of them are staffed anywhere from 25 to 50%.
Okay.
But it's just to handle phone calls, direct people. If there are things that people need to drop off or pick up, we ask them to make an appointment. You know, they go to the office, they make an appointment. There's some software they can use. They make an appointment. If we need to pick something up, we'll do curbside. We'll put on the mask and the shield, go out and help them, and then go back in the office. Probably the first part of January, we'll start allowing customers by appointment only back into the office.
Gotcha. So still dealing with being able to practice social distancing, having minimal amount of capacity there at the office. Then when it comes to business owners that are maybe listening, what are some of the solutions and options or opportunities, different things that they can get from the Workforce Solutions team?
Sure, and there's a wide range. And we like to say we're probably the best kept secret around, because first of all, everything that we provide is at no charge. We are funded by federal and state taxes, so there's no charge for anything we do. And starting from the basics is help with recruiting. We have the largest recruiting database in the state, which is workintexas.com. So we can help people post jobs there. We also have recruiters that we can help recruit. I don't know how many of the business owners have been on Indeed and put a job posting on Indeed for a receptionist and received 150 resumes.
Yes.
We actually have recruiters that can go through and screen for you to make sure that we're only sending you 10 out of the 150, not the 150. So that's one of the basic ones. We're doing a lot of virtual job fairs. So we can even invite you to a virtual job fair, or we can help you create your own virtual job fair. Those are some of the basic things, but there's other things we provide. We do employer education on a monthly basis, usually 2 or 3 seminars per month. All these seminars, you can get SHRM and HRCI certification credits.
Wow, okay.
So if you need continuing education credits and maybe your business doesn't want to pay for them right now because times are a little tough, we do that free of charge. So once again, you can get all the continuing education credits that you need. We also have some special programs for on-the-job training and apprenticeship programs. And people don't really understand that there's a tremendous amount of state money available for apprenticeship programs. So there's a lot we can do with that. So if you have a job area that there's a lot of turnover and it's basically and it's not cost effective for you to continue to go through the churn of employees, and maybe it's a training thing that we can come in, help you develop a training program, get you the folks in there, and we pay for part of their salaries when they're in the on-the-job training program. And if it's a big enough issue for the entire industry, we can actually roll it up into an apprenticeship program. So there's some things that we can do with that. There's also a lot of skills training that's available free of charge. I had a small coffee shop out in the Katy area that bought a franchise. The franchise software, the accounting software was QuickBooks. The owner didn't know anything about QuickBooks, and neither did his manager. So they took all of the hard copy data out of their POS system, gave it to their accountant, who of course charged them handily for putting it into QuickBooks. So through a skills for small business with the state, we were able to pay for him and his employee to go to Lone Star College to get the basic skills needed in QuickBooks. And once again, it was at no charge to them.
Amazing.
So there's just a plethora, and I love that word, of things that we could provide, all at no charge.
Yes, and ultimately the employers, they pay for this through their employment taxes, right?
Yeah. So what we tell people is that even though we say there's no charge, you've already paid for it.
Yeah.
You've already paid for it, so don't ignore it. And I think part of the problem with a lot of employers that have been in this area for a while, a lot of people think Workforce Solutions is the unemployment office. Well, not really. Now we're more of the employment office, because that's our role, is to put people to work, either to get them off unemployment or to get them into a better employment so they can get a livable wage.
And this is amazing, especially if I'm thinking about the small business owner. You talk about a coffee shop owner that they don't have the capacity time-wise or talent-wise to train someone on QuickBooks, right? Because you can't teach what you don't know. And if you need to focus on driving sales in coffee, you don't have time to sit down for hours on end to talk to someone on help service or to teach yourself how to do QuickBooks. This is a great opportunity. So how can someone, that's listening, that finds themselves kind of in this tough spot, how can they get in touch with someone there at Workforce Solutions?
Yeah, the easiest thing is just go to worksolutions.com, and it's WRKsolutions.com. So there's no O in work. I think somebody got that website early. So worksolutions.com, and it'll list all of the locations.
Okay.
Basically, you can do that. Or, I can give you our number. It's 713-590-2634. If we're in a Zoom meeting, I'd say I'd put it in chat, which we do now a lot. But just call us, tell me you want to talk to a business consultant. We'll find the business consultant. I have 21 business consultants that work the 13 counties. So we can get a business consultant to you. And really, if you're just trying to figure out what we can do, because once again, we also do labor market information. So if maybe you're having a lot of turnover and you're trying to figure out, am I paying the right amount? We can tell you what your competitors are paying, without naming the competitors, of course.
Yeah.
But we'll tell you what is a competitive wage in that area. We can also help businesses that are wanting to grow, or you want to get into business. We can tell you if it is a growing business, if it's not. Are there people here that are educated that would be a good workforce for you? So we work with a lot of EDCs throughout the area.
Gotcha.
There's other even customized training. We had a pretty big ISD in this area who had a police department. They wanted them trained in customer service, but they didn't have a training program. We developed the training program for them. We had a manufacturer that most of his staff was Hispanic and didn't speak English very well. We created an English as a second language for the program for them that talked about and taught them to understand the English words in the manufacturing facility.
Amazing.
So, those are things, once again, is that, we do a lot of, but people don't know to reach out to us, for that service. So I'd go to worksolutions.com. And you can even look at the, if you're in the Westheimer area, there's a Westheimer office. In there, it'll list the business consultants. You can call them. Or once again, you can call them, and I'll give you my email address before we get off the air, too. You can email me, and I'll get you to the right place.
That's amazing. So so I think about the workintexas.com.
Yes.
Right? And so as not only as an employer, they're able to then post a job posting there.
Yes.
They're also able to reach out to a business consultant, be able to work with some recruiters to be able to find talent as well.
Absolutely.
And not feel like they have to do it themselves by going on Indeed, like you mentioned, and go through 150 resumes to find one position.
Yeah, and even workintexas.com, like you said, you can go there and you can search the applicants that are there. That's very easy, or you can call and talk to one of the recruiters in the office, tell them what you're looking for, because they love to refer people. And we have people that they're talking to every day that, we know what their skills, we know what they need. If you're looking for somebody that maybe doesn't have the skill, maybe we can train them in that skill. Once again, people who don't have a GED and somebody wants to have a GED, we'll help them get their GED.
Gotcha.
We do that.
So you guys really help the employee as well that wants to get maybe retooled, retrained, better to be able to enter the workforce.
Absolutely. And we've got relationships with a lot of different companies that provide apprenticeship programs. So if somebody wants to get, become an electrician, if somebody wants to get into construction, we have a lot of apprenticeship programs that we can put people into to help them get to that point. The relationships we have with a lot of these companies is just phenomenal. There's one company here that really looks at the foster care system. So once kids turn 18, they're out.
Right.
A lot of them don't have skills. So there's one company that trains them to be electricians. So they get them enrolled in the program. They're starting to earn money right away. They end up getting a junior college degree, associate's degree, and then they get a job. They're making $60,000, $70,000 without school loans.
That's amazing. Yeah. Absolutely phenomenal. And so talk about a little bit, you mentioned the apprenticeship, an employer, how does that kind of look from the startup to kind of launch? What does those conversations kind of look like?
And usually it comes with a consortium of maybe, say we have 5 or 6 manufacturers doing basically the same thing. They need the same entry-level skills. They need that, and there's not enough of that workforce coming out of either high schools or the local colleges. So we get together, we talk to them about what they need, what they're looking for, what kind of skills. We bring in a community college. We start developing curriculum. We go to TWC and we ask for funds, to develop that. Maybe it's for an HVAC program that you need to buy equipment for. So we go out and we look for those kind of funds to help them put that together. And then basically the consortium basically says, this is what we need. These are the kind of folks. We get the college set up, and then we start putting people in through those. So they get their degree while they're working and while they're being paid. So, it's a pretty easy program, but we just need to find something that works for everybody. But we've seen, it used to be it was only manufacturing.
Okay.
But we're seeing it in all kinds of industries. There's a lot of IT apprenticeship programs, especially with cybersecurity. There was one just approved.
Oh, wow, okay.
So for cybersecurity, which is a big deal today.
Absolutely.
So if you think of something, and there's a lot of people in that environment, and as a business owner, you're not getting people with that kind of skill, and it's kind of an industry-wide gap.
Yes.
We can help fill that gap through apprenticeship programs.
Which is amazing. I mean, it basically is on-the-job training because it's so fast.
Yes.
You're able to be that nimble, right? Where I just, thinking about like a university, to be able to create the curriculum, to be able to get it accredited, right? It just takes so many steps to be able for your traditional college to get this kind of approved and delivered.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the reason we work together. So we've got, great ways of doing that, working together. But a lot of times when people are interested in an apprenticeship program, we start with an on-the-job training program, which is administered here locally.
Okay.
So, we look at the job, we look at the training need, we develop the training with you and get it, because a lot of times companies will go on. We did a lot of that with companies who were starting to manufacture PPE back in March and April.
Okay.
because they were bringing people on that didn't know how to do what they were looking to do. We created on-the-job training, put people in there, and then it can go from there. So, it's amazing because I'll go back to QuickBooks again. We had a small law office that they wanted, the receptionist also to do their books. Well, she didn't know how to do QuickBooks. So we created an on-the-job training program for that. So we could do that locally there too if we didn't want to send them through the skills program to the school. So once again, if you're thinking of anything you have to train people on, it might be something that we can help with.
Yeah, and so that on-the-job training, really, you end up partnering up with Workforce Solutions as an employer because they'll, number one, help you identify maybe the talent that you don't know is out there.
Yes.
And then two is you'll help kind of create a training program for that individual.
Yes. Well, and we're on site a lot too because we want to make sure that people we bring out there, they're showing up on time. They know how to be in an employment situation because a lot of the people that we're bringing in maybe haven't had a good job experience. So we try to work with that. We're also working with a lot of second chance folks. So we want to help those because there's a lot of people that get out of prison, they have a record, they can't get a job, but they want to work. And we're finding companies that hire them, they have very good, dedicated workers. We also have some programs that I'm really excited about right now is where we're helping disabled folks. So we've got it's a pilot program where we actually put a disabled person on your site to work. We pay them. They're our employee. You're just giving them job experience.
Okay.
So what we're trying to do is help build the resume of these folks so they can go out after they get this job training and get a job on their own. And it's just amazing the kind of work that we're working with. We have people in warehouses. We have people at CVS. We have people as greeters, as hostesses. And once again we put them on your site. In the beginning, we have a job coach with them so they understand what it is to work, how you show up for work, when you show up for work, how do you work for somebody, because they've really never worked for anybody before.
Yeah.
So we're giving all that education. So it's just an awesome opportunity. So we're looking for a lot of businesses right now. We've got about 80 different kids that I say kids, 18 to 24 typically, that we need to put to work. And if you never worked with a disabled youth, I mean, they're pleasant, they're punctual, they love working. There's all kind of great things. Once you get them working with you, you really don't want them to leave. So it's an awesome opportunity. And we also have something called work-based learning, where if, we have young adults that are coming in and say, I'd really like to understand how to work in a medical office. Well, we will pay them their salary of $10 an hour for 6 weeks while they come work for you while you train them. In the 6 weeks, if you love them, you can hire them. If not, we'll move them on. Because in the 6 weeks, they may say, I really don't want to work in a medical office anymore. But it's a good way to give people experience when they are in their youth to figure out where they want to go. And once again, you get an extra pair of hands for 6 weeks, and we're paying for them.
That's amazing. When I think about that, the new role that's erupted, right, is the temperature health screener, right?
Yes.
Is now a new role. So Jonathan's giving the commercial. Bob, absolute pleasure. Really appreciate you coming on, sharing that story. Again, what's the website people can go out to so that way they can get engaged?
I would go to worksolutions.com, and that's WRK Solutions with an S at the end.com. That's where you get all the information. And the one where the job seekers are and you can post jobs is workintexas.com.
All right. Well, folks, check out all the plethora of services that the Workforce Solutions can give you and your business as you're looking at identifying talent. No mistake about it, although we're in the world that we are, you're always battling for top talent, and you're looking at ways to train and develop your employees to get them better. So we're going to take a quick commercial break and come right back. Thanks a lot, Bob, for coming on the show.
Thank you, Sherman. Appreciate it. Take care.
Hi, I'm Mike Mogel, the CEO of Clean Sweep Office Cleaning. A clean and disinfected space is essential to keeping your customers and your staff healthy, safe, and productive while preventing the spread of COVID-19. Clean Sweep Office Cleaning, with more than 20 years experience in janitorial, restaurant, post-construction, and floor maintenance cleaning. We really make it shine. We are focused on quality cleaning and wellness in our customer spaces. Our team is professionally trained to ensure not a spot is missed, and we use products that are safe for your property and your people. Our services are tailored to your individual needs and include expert floor care, dusting, sweeping, mopping, vacuuming, detailing, glass cleaning, and deep disinfecting. Our experienced team is here to make your office as comfortable and clean as possible. Visit our website at cleansweepofficecleaning.com or call us today at 832-689-7996. Now that's a clean sweep.
COVID-19 transformed the way we do business. Now more than ever, fast lead generation and customer retention will determine if a business survives or not. The NowMedia Video Business Card is designed to be sent using your smartphone. It's the next generation business card that will open the door for you while keeping social distancing. The NowMedia Video Business Card is affordable for anyone from startups to multinational companies and is already being used by hundreds of businesses. Stay open, stay in business. Call us today.
This pandemic has decimated the economy, especially small business. Restaurants are closing, retailers are calling it quits, owners, managers, and sales reps wonder, is this the new normal? They are worried about their companies and their future. Bounce Back Westchase is here to help. Multiple companies, as well as public officials, have teamed up to reinvigorate Houston businesses with Bounce Back Westchase, which can be found at bouncebackwestchase.com. Bounce Back Westchase is a completely free of charge platform where any company in Houston can boost, get exposure, and bring new customers to their business. There are 3 easy steps to helping you get new customers. 1. Log on to bouncebackwestchase.com and click Sign Up to get new customers. 2. Fill out your company details. 3. Create a bounce back offer or discount. Your information will then be sent out to thousands of potential customers and clients on a weekly basis. Bounce Back Westchase is a completely free local initiative for Minuteman Press Westchase, City Council members Tiffany D. Thomas and Greg Travis, State Congressman Jim Murphy and Gene Wu, NowMedia Radio, the Houston West Chamber of Commerce, and the Westchase District. Get your company signed up, get new customers, and let's bounce back together.
Now, more than ever, having accurate and up-to-date bookkeeping is crucial for tax and operating cost optimization. Additionally, having a reliable outside bookkeeping company ensures your books are done correctly, and there is no need for the cost of a full-time accountant. RSM Bookkeeping and Tax Services, founded by veteran Ron Maldonado, can provide different bookkeeping packages to fit your company's needs. Assist with the installation of onboarding of QuickBooks, review your books for tax preparation, assist with the creation and registration of your company and obtaining your company's EIN number with the IRS. Tax services for individuals and businesses, for sales and use tax certificates, filing franchise and sales tax reports. Take a decisive step. Call Ron Maldonado at 281-610-7039 and let RSM Bookkeeping and Tax Services be a part of your success.
Welcome back with Biz Talk with Sherman, everybody. I'm here from Mutual of Omaha. Very grateful for Bob Parliament coming on from Workforce Solutions, telling all the plethora of services they have for various business owners out there. And very excited to be able to have as guests Travis and Erica from, is it Allard Insurance?
Ellard Insurance.
Ellard Insurance. Thank you for that. So you're on the B2B side. You just told me a little bit about it. So tell people a little bit about what commercial insurance, what does that kind of entail?
Yeah, so just very brief rundown on that. So that's going to include somebody that owns a business. That's going to be their general liability, their liquor liability, their property, their workers' comp, their cyber, all of those different coverages that basically protect you from a business standpoint.
Gotcha. And so I know that cyber is a very hot topic these days. It seems like we're getting hacked from everybody these days. Are you finding that seems to be a larger concern for people that are getting more and more online these days?
Yeah, absolutely. I see it as a situation that, especially in the past 3 years that I've been in business, cyber was very new. And now all of a sudden, with all the ransomware and the hacking, the coverage has gotten much broader, much more in depth, and much more expensive.
Oh wow. Okay. So how does usually people don't grow up and say, hey, I want to get into commercial insurance. How's that look like for you, Travis? What was that career path like?
I think probably a better place to start there would be like, where did I see the need? So we all know the Gallaghers, the Aons, the Marsh, the Willis Towers Watson, the Brown and Brown, the big guys. And then you have the really small guys. So, your 1-2 man show, mom and pop. The middle there, kind of like where you're dealing with small to medium-sized businesses. They're still private. They're not public yet. They're too small for the big guy, but too big for the little guy. So that was kind of the space that I wanted to be in. And we all know that in this world, the fastest way to grow is through acquisition, correct? That's how it's going. So the bigger continue to get larger by buying the people in the middle. The smaller continue to get smaller.
Yeah.
So I said, how do we get into that middle ground space, and what kind of business do I want to be in? So as I was telling you, my father has been an insurance agent for 42 years, personal insurance, farmers. I saw where I could do it from there, and I just said, but I want to be, as you were saying, on the B2B side. So commercial insurance is where I went, and that's where we've been ever since.
That's amazing. And how about for you, Erica? How did you get started into the commercial insurance business?
So I've actually been doing insurance for over 15 years, mainly focusing on personal line side, but met Travis, and he had a great opportunity for me that I couldn't pass up. So here we are.
That's amazing. And so how do you guys kind of split up the responsibilities there at the office? Is there maybe expertise in just one particular line, and then other people kind of focus on other areas? How do you guys have it set up there?
Yeah, so the way it was really built for us as a team was you have the sales side, which would be Erica and I, but the agency doesn't really run, we can sell as much as we want, but there have to be people behind the scenes that are, nurturing the relationships that we created. So we have to create the trust, and then the trust has to be continued by who's in the office. So everybody in the office was brought in from those large firms that I was telling you about. So, we have people from Gallagher, NFP, Higginbotham, Brown and Brown. They are the ones that really take care of the client base behind us, so that we're able to, one, give you that personal touch, the boutique side that people appreciate from a small business standpoint, but also give you the experience, the tech, the details that come with a large firm.
Right. And so unlike personal insurance, there's a very heavy operation side to commercial insurance versus let's say the umbrellas and things like that, right?
Absolutely. So, and now more than ever with technology advancements and things like that, personal insurance is becoming extremely commoditized.
Yes.
Any of us, even agents as ourselves, we can get online and quote our car insurance with Progressive or State Farm or whoever, and just be done like that. So I kind of saw the shift there to where the relationship in personal insurance wasn't there anymore. People might leave you for $50. You don't have a lot of client
a year, $50 a year, right? They're saving $4.
Yes,
they're saving a Starbucks.
Yes. So I don't know about you, but I see that as there's no relationship.
Correct.
And you don't really have many opportunities to nurture the relationship with personal insurance.
Yeah.
From a business standpoint, when you're talking about somebody's restaurant, their manufacturing facility, their law firm, their doctor's office, whatever it is, there are so many moving pieces that make that child of theirs go, and you have to be intensively involved at all times.
And it's great. I'm sorry. And it's great because especially if you get in tune with the client when they're just starting out, they're sort of going through different things where it's all new to them. And so being on the commercial side, it's great to be able to walk them through that and say, hey, you know what? Yes, we need to cover your property. Yes, we need to cover this, but maybe we need to give you some options and let's see how far you're going to grow with this and where we can lead you.
Gotcha. So over the years, obviously growing up, seeing Dad run the insurance business, you knew that there was an amazing amount of hard work, of dedication, right? The impact. Was there any opportunity for you to serve any of his clients in this capacity?
I get that question often when I talk about it. And people kind of expect that I jumped into insurance and just automatically knew everything that was going on because I grew up in it. But it's totally not the case. So I don't know if native Houstonian, grew up in Deer Park, Texas. My life was extremely athletically driven. I really didn't pay attention to that at all. Like if you would have asked me at that point in time what my dad did for a living, I just would have told you insurance.
Yeah.
And that's about it. So left Houston, ended up in Dallas through recruiting, went to college there, went to grad school. And when I got out, that was when I got more intrigued by the industry as a whole.
Yeah.
And he was there to, fortunately enough, direct me to a couple of people that I deem mentors in the commercial insurance space, because it wasn't a place where he could necessarily help me,
Yeah.
but he could point me in the direction of people that he knew in the industry that could kind of give me a leg up, or at least a direction to start.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know, where to begin, what to learn, how to really start. So then, what made you decide? 3 years ago, let's go start our own.
Really, two things. I went through the interview process a little bit with some of the large firms as far as the sales perspective goes.
Yeah.
And I knew deep down that if I didn't give myself the opportunity to build something on my own, I would have regretted it.
Yeah.
So I would rather try to do it now and then, maybe make that transition later. Obviously, I'm glad I made that decision. Why I left Dallas and came back to Houston is because the commercial insurance space in Houston area is much greater than it is in Dallas.
Oh, really? Why is that, do you think?
It's the industrial space. I mean, you think about everything from the Gulf to brown water to the Bay Area, hurricanes. The risk is much larger, and we have to deal with things that they just don't have to.
Gotcha. Okay, so you saw the opportunity once again, that either where you knew that, hey, B2B is where you wanted to go, the commercial space, at the same time as you compared two major cities, right? I think we're talking from a population standpoint, number 4 and 5 in the country.
Yes.
Pretty similar, right? On just kind of the glance, but you saw, hey, there's a greater opportunity to really have a greater impact there in that space.
Yeah, and I think there was and no knocks on Dallas, because I love Dallas.
Yeah.
I spent 6 years there. I wanted to come back home. Home. Like, I still wanted to be somewhere different. So that's kind of how we ended up in the Woodlands. Like, I wanted to be back in Houston, but I wanted to be somewhere different where I didn't know anybody. I'm kind of really getting in there and building something from ground zero.
That's awesome. And so 2020, and typically insurance has been known for more of a face-to-face engagement. How have you guys been navigating that at your firm?
Never stopped.
Okay. That's amazing. And then so for you guys on the face-to-face side, is a lot more being done digitally now with kind of meetings and engagements with clients?
I can speak for myself. The only thing that I have really had that is digital is my meetings with my carrier reps. So as you may or may not be familiar, when you're an independent broker, so you're able to deal out multiple different carriers' products, your Travelers, your Nationwide, your Hartford, your Chubb. So you have sales reps for each one of those that you coordinate with the product. So we would do all of those things digitally, but as far as in board meetings, so that kind of thing's been digital. But other than that, my client base has wanted to meet in person.
Okay. And how about for you, Erica, being in this same kind of side on the sales, right?
Right. On the sales side, nothing's changed for me either. Like he mentioned, some of the things that I've been doing with the carrier reps are done virtually. But otherwise, we're still going. And right, a lot of people still want to meet in person.
Yeah. How about on the operations side? Did you find needing to invest more into any kind of infrastructure to be able to make sure that things were kind of running smoothly there? Or is it already kind of designed for a more of a digital experience there?
Kind of going back to what I was saying about trying to create the best of both worlds to deal with that middle market space. I've tried to be as methodical as possible with how I built the team and who there was. So from a COVID perspective, we all have our own individual offices. We're all spread out. So you don't come into the office and it's a large bullpen where all of us are just, sharing the same air. So that was, fortunately enough, we were, for the most part, able to stay in the office and keep pushing through. I saw that as an opportunity to very much a growth-minded agency right now. We're young. A lot of people are probably going to sit back. So I'm going to take this opportunity to try and be aggressive as possible. From a tech standpoint, we had just recently, in January of 2020, switched over to what most of us in the industry would consider the best agency management platform that there is.
Okay.
So we were already gun ho, ready to roll.
So you're
from a digital
poised
standpoint.
really for the opportunity to really fully maximize that distribution.
Yeah, and that was one of those things that I knew I had to do it at some point. You know, there's levels to that, and an insurance agency runs off of its management system. And I very quickly realized that if I'm going to go out and pluck these account managers from these huge firms, they're going to be used to operating on top flight technology.
Absolutely.
So make the investment early on, and it'll pay off further down the road.
Absolutely. So as you talk about acquiring talent, how have you going on about that?
Word of mouth. When I very first started, at this point, I was just working out of my apartment complex. I was at the Starbucks underneath and using the conference rooms there. I knew that if I wanted to have a fighting chance in the space that I want to be in, I need to have contracts with these companies that provide a superior product. So I went out, and instead of them coming to us to provide the contracts, I went to them telling them why they should assign us the contracts. And a lot of them appreciated that because it was something that they weren't used to. Usually they are having to fight for the agent's business. I saw it the other way around, where I want to fight for your business. So I got those opportunities, and then they saw my need as I continued to grow, and I was able to have them direct me to some of the people at the large firms that either they might have felt undervalued. I mean, many of us know you can get into a large corporate environment and you might be a total stud, but you're in there with 1,000, 5,000 others. Or some people that might have been on the back end of their career but wanted to get back into the mix and do something fun and exciting and be a part of movement per se. So once I connected with them, the rest was history. And that was also in part kind of how I came across Erica. I was on the hunt for another account manager, and I was connected to Erica and interviewed with her, and I was totally blown away, and I felt like we had instantly connected from a sales perspective, and I saw where she could really be a valuable asset to the team. And even though I wasn't looking to add somebody on in sales, I took the jump and brought her on anyways, and it has paid off in many ways.
That's awesome. So from going from your apartment and the Starbucks that you're using, how far have you grown now at this point from a size perspective with your team?
Just me, and there's 7 of us now.
Okay, all right. So there is two full-time on the sales, and then about 5 on the operations side.
So there's 3 full-time on the sales.
Okay.
And then there'd be 4 on operations.
Gotcha. So it's almost like almost a 1-for-1. So you still are able to give that really nice high touch to those clients as you guys are out there grabbing and servicing clients, but they have a nice team back at the office.
Yeah, and one of the things that I saw when you go and you bring on somebody that's ultra talented in what they do from an account management standpoint, they can handle 2 to 3 times what a normal or below average person might be able to.
Yeah.
And I very much, from my experience and conversations with people, I wanted to try and keep the volume of the staff down and the quality up.
Yeah.
So when I went and brought those people on, it's very much more of an untraditional standpoint where they can handle twice the load, so I have to have less people.
Yeah, and I think that's the difference, right? Where you're looking at talent and you're obviously being very selective on who you're bringing in based on kind of the culture that you're building. It's always better to have a LeBron James than 25 high school students.
I agree.
Right? You know what I mean?
And
the quantity isn't going to make up for that talent.
Well, more staff, more people, more things that can go wrong. It just gets more complicated.
Yeah.
And I feel like the tighter we keep it, the better we run synchronized as a group. And then there's a lot less turnover when you're dealing with people that are very experienced and they're in a certain pay scale, and the environment is the right way. I mean, we're all in a very much a laid back environment because we all do our jobs.
Yeah.
There's nobody that needs to be micromanaged. I mean, it's a team effort, and we all view each other as equals. So that creates a very collaborative, comfortable environment.
So anyone that might be listening, what's a way that they can get in touch with you guys to see if, hey, maybe we should be having a look at these things right now?
So they can contact us at our agency. So it's Ellard Insurance, and we're in the Woodlands. And the phone number is 281-466. No.
281-377-1751.
1751.
And is there a website that they could maybe contact you and maybe if that's a little bit easier for them?
Yeah, so ellardinsurance.com, spelled all the way out. They can scroll all the way down to the bottom, or they can click the Contact Us page, and it'll bring them to a bracket. It's service@ellardinsurance.com. They can also email us there.
Okay, wonderful. And Ellard, spell that out for those that were listening either on the radio or the podcast format.
ELLARD.
All right, wonderful. Well, thanks you guys so much for coming on and sharing your story. Anything else that you want to let people know about Ellard Insurance?
That we're here for them, from small, medium to large size business, whatever their needs may be. We're not here by any means to sell you something. There's a reason that it says risk management in our name. We consider ourselves consultants. We're going to tell you what you might need. We might tell you what you don't need that you do have, that somebody oversold you. We just want to put you in the right direction, because at the end of the day, helping people, it's going to come back around to you at some point in time.
Absolutely. Well, welcome. Thanks for launching your business back in Houston. I really appreciate that. Thanks again, Erica and Travis, for coming on and sharing your story. Folks, thanks again for listening. This is Biz Talk with Sherman. If you want to come on the show, feel free to email me, sherman.on@mutualofomaha.com. Love to have you come and share your story and reiterate why Houston's a great place to work, live, and play. Have a great one. Sherman's out.